5 seconds.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the JDL League Season number 6. I'm SP Revolution 5, here alone this evening for Truesight TV. It's next level badasses up against Complexity Gaming. And guys, just a quick note before we begin. Maybe a little weird on the sound today. I'm in a new setup, just moved back to school on Sunday for some summer classes, so sound may be a little off, so apologies about that in advance. Let me know if you hear anything really strange, and yeah, we'll be ready to go right about now. So it's a 2-game series, of course, as are all of the JDL League games up until tiebreakers, playoffs, and etc. Complexity starting off with the bans of Queen of Pain and actually Bounty Hunter, which we'll talk about that in a moment. Next level, banning out the Gyrocopter and the Wisp. Some of the most popular heroes here. Undying and Leshrac are going to be there to pick up separate from each other, as Complexity starts off with Shadow Fiend and Earthshaker. They'll follow that up with a Dazzle in the second phase. Now, next level are going to ban out the Darkseer and the Brood Mama. Of course, Clockwork and Rubik, the bans now for Complexity. Rubik actually apparently turned out to be the most picked hero in the North American qualifiers, which I found quite interesting. But he definitely can be a pain in the rear end if you're not careful. Now, the Shadow Demon will be picked up here by next level to synergize nicely with the Leshrac, who could easily still be a support at this point, although I believe he's probably going to be core. Generally, we're seeing Leshrac picked up more as a core. Undying could also go either way, but I suspect we'd see him in an off-lane role as well. Shadow Fiend, though, and Earthshaker, picked up by Complexity. This is a lot of early damage picked up, a lot of lockdown in the Earthshaker, and a lot of team fight just in general.
Reserve time.
Okay, sorry about that. But, the Bounty Hunter ban out here will allow them to protect their Shadow Fiend in another way. Bounty's been picked up as a roaming support, mainly, I think. He may have been played off-lane once or twice. I want to say he actually was at MLG, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong about that. Okay. Why are we getting so many, random languages in chat? Okay, not my issue. But Shadow Fiend is really vulnerable to those early rotations, and that's what they really want to protect with this early ban out. So, should be pretty interesting. We will see him picked up. He's also got the Dazzle to protect him, but they'll grab the Weaver right now, a hero that they've ran a couple times in the safe lane for Ziz, and should be pretty interesting. A very useful hero, in my opinion.
10 seconds remaining.
Also, I do want to point out, I did see a tweet from Moon saying Dota's metagame is the worst. It's frustrating to lose against it because you know it's the wrong way to play Dota. And I can definitely see where he's saying there, in the fact that playing at a somewhat higher level than these other teams, the other teams kind of have their own sub-meta going on, and it's really tough for them to respect it in a way. But again, it's not what they're used to playing against, or not what they want to be used to playing against anyway. So there's not much point in them practicing against it, I think is what he's saying. I just found that very interesting. I do like their lineup right now. I'm assuming this is a support Earthshaker at the moment, although it could be an offlane Earthshaker for Moon. That'll be determined by the final pickup. It does make this next pickup for next level pretty tough to decide. They do have a bit of lockdown for the Weaver and a lot of burst damage. However, it's not necessarily enough. Against a Weaver, can you have too much lockdown? I'm not so sure. I really don't think so, but they'll grab the Enigma right now, which basically says this is a core Leshrac. So in the mid lane, I'm not really sure what the stats are on the Shadow Fiend Leshrac matchup. And I used to spam Shadow Fiend a lot. I don't do it as much anymore. I would probably say Leshrac can win the matchup up until about 5 minutes in. But they are worried that this may not be the case. So they'll ban out the TA just in case. You don't want to give your Shadow Fiend a TA matchup because, well, it's just not a fun thing to have. And we'll see the final ban come out here for next level. It'll be the Beastmaster, so a little bit afraid of that vision, which would stop Enigma from jumping in with the Black Hole early on. Even though they do have the Shadow Fiend, Demon, excuse me, to defend against it as well. Once again, a big shout out to everyone for coming out to the channel. We really appreciate the support. Know we were offline for a little bit this past weekend, but
10 seconds remaining.
Should be able to do that. If we could use English in the chat, that would be wonderful. Mods.
Reserve time.
My 2 Spanish-speaking mods have gone wild here, but it's all good. As Complexity have about 10 seconds to decide where they're going to put the Earthshaker and what hero will fill in their 5th slot. It's going to be the Nature's Prophet for Moon, it looks like. Now, I know Z-Freak has run a support Nature's Prophet in the past. Don't really think that's what we're going to be seeing here today. But Storm Spirit picked up by Next Level, and this is basically a sure BKB game for a lot of members of Complexity, especially the Shadow Fiend for sure. Otherwise, he's just going to get annihilated. And it will actually be Z-Freak on the Nature's Prophet. Wow. Look at me. I'm predicting stuff. And we will be getting into the game very soon. Really excited about this one, guys. Our bets on Join Dota were 94% for Complexity, 3.5% for a tie, and 1.6% thinks NLBA's got it. Over 376 bets placed. Well, I'm just going to pull up Dota 2 Best YOLO to check and make sure we've got the proper overlay. Let me remove Plague's name real quick. Alright. 89 to 11 for Complexity NLBA right here. Should be pretty interesting. Let's go ahead and get things underway. As on the side of NLBA, your underdogs in the match, at least by the odds, if not by the fact that, well, Complexity won the NA qualifier for TI and therefore are a very superior team. In that sense, at least. We do have Sparky the Sharky going to be on your Enigma. They're standing KY, who's been playing with them for a while now, if I'm not mistaken. Going to be on the left track. We've got Yurgity, your position 6 war bitch, on the Shadow Demon. Koss will be playing the Undying, and Noble Wings will be on the Storm Spirit. On the other side of the river, it's going to be Complexity. Swindle Melon sporting the Deso Immortal for SF. We have Moon Meander over here on the Earthshaker as well. He'll be in the off lane, of course. Z-Freak on the Nature's Prophet, playing a bit of a greedy role here, I believe, as it appears that Moon Meander's going off lane at least, and Z-Freak will be moving into the jungle, as Ziz will be on your Weaver, and of course, last but not least, we'll have Fly on the Dazzle. They'll be going after this first rune and should be able to secure it, and it looks like, yeah, Shadow Fiend's going to be able to grab one. Koss will grab the other, but it'll take a bit of damage doing so. Shadow Fiend getting his a bit more secure. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, it looks like Fly's going to sit here and work with his buddy Swindle for a bit. Actually sporting the Dazzleator set, so both Deso cosmetics coming into play. I don't think there's another one, but we shall see. As that first Fissure did sap up a bit of Moon's mana. I believe he brought out another Clarity just then, but Cost on the bot lane will get some decay stacks off, but then running Ziz as a solo laner here and actually getting away with the greedy Nature's Prophet, this actually makes the lane a bit harder for Undying, because generally he wants to sap 2 or 3 people's strength, and he's not going to be able to do that because, well, there's only one hero in the lane for now. Fly will be rotating down at the moment after he's helped Swindlemelon secure his first 7 or 8 souls or so, but there'll be a similar greedy position on the side of NLBA as the Enigma is in the jungle. Moonmeander does get his clarity canceled there, but does get a lot of damage out of Yurgity, and Yurgity not going to be able to return that damage quite as quickly. But I actually think this greedy, I keep calling it greedy move on the side of V3, isn't actually as greedy as it may seem, simply because they do have a solo safe lane against the Undying, and that can be very beneficial to Complexity's draft. Fly actually is going to get the decay right now. He will heal up, or skill up the heal, as the tombstone does get dropped. It is, I believe, oh, it's level 2 actually. As he gets his level 2 in the nick of time, skills up the grave, and will try to live, but he's going to end up going down to cost, who gets his first blood. Z-Freak rotating down now. Ziz trying to do some damage here at least, as Earthshaker finds a haste rune on the top lane. Ziz might go down here, but they will manage to trade, and Z-Freak able to pick off the Undying there as well. So a nice little exchange here, but NLBA getting the better end of it, in my opinion, simply because, well, I say this, but it looks like the gold actually goes over to Complexity after that one. Getting the revenge kill. A little interesting to say the least. But keep in mind, they did manage to, I believe they managed to kill the tombstone. And
the seeds of fortune.
That would give them some extra gold. Anyways. Oh, let me fix that. Sorry about that. Everything fixed up now. Do have a sentry ward placed down here by the Undying, just so we can spot Ziz trying to come in for the kill right now. Ziz is going to be picking up a bottle, which I believe he does on Weaver pretty often. Moonmeander not going for one just yet, but he just doesn't have the farm at the moment. And picking up the magic stick up against Leshrac is going to be very useful, as he spins Lightning Storm quite a bit in lane. Nice juke there on the Shadow Poison, or was Yurgity just missing it? Not really sure. Might have a rotation in for Nature's Prophet this cost. He's trying to dive here, already put the tombstone down at the tower, but he'll try to trade some hits with Ziz, who will invis away right now, was dusted up as well, and he should be able to take him down right here. One more right click will do the job, and this is going to get Z-Freak toward a very early hand of Midas. It's only 4 minutes in-ish at the moment, and he's already sitting on 1,000 gold, as well as his Null Talisman. And this is going to be a fantastic start for him. Of course, he could be going with the Null Blade Mail build, but if you can get a Midas this early, as I like to say, you might as well. I know. So funny.
Radiant's middle tower.
Oh, why there's a Deso with that Dazzle set? Because there is a niche build where you build Deso on Dazzle. I've actually played it in unranked games. It's pretty fun. Not necessarily the most effective, because you have to remember his 2 damage dealing spells are also physical damage, and he actually has a really great attack animation. So, oh, that's the courier down, as it will end up falling here. Nova Wings was about to bottle Crow, I believe, but isn't going to be able to, and a nice rotation in here from Ziz after securing the rune, if I'm not 100% mistaken here. Getting Fly some good XP on the bot lane here, even with Ziz moving out, but it's good gold for the team anyway, since Weaver's level 4. We actually have level 5 up on Fly, and getting early levels for Dazzle can be very useful, as, I mean, you want to max something first, but of course you just want to have everything maxed on Dazzle if you can. So. By the way, I wasn't trying to insinuate that we'd have a Dazzle with the Desolator in this game. I just wanted to point that out because Wubby TV had asked about that, so. There is a Spanish channel available, of course, if you'd like. I appreciate you guys coming here, though. It means a ton to me. As mid lane, it looks like Nova Wings is actually going to get saved by Yurgity there after being hit with a fissure and a raise. Another raise coming off there, but it won't be enough. Z-Freak, though, going to come in here and get the kill. on Nova Wings. He's on a killing spree, actually picking up all of Complexity's kills so far. Swindle on 42 HP. He will turn around to kill that zombie, but he will go down to the decay of Cross, who has all the kills for NLBA right now, as Z-Freak actually finds another kill on Yurgity, and this is going to be a null blade mail build, I'm assuming, although he could easily still go for the Midas and be perfectly fine. The only question is, Complexity don't necessarily want to take the game that late. And they don't really need to, either. They've got very good aggressive heroes. I'd imagine Weaver, if he can get the farm, which he's going to be going for a CoL right now. Not too sure what his item progression is going to be afterwards, but having the, oh, I know what it is. Just give me a moment. The Deso up early on him could do tons of damage. It's actually been my preferred build on Weaver this patch. And since there's not that much that's blocked by Lincolns, although there is a considerable amount, you can hold on for the Lincolns for a bit. Not that they need to. Now, meanwhile, Storm Spirit will go down to the Shadow, and there is going to be a disruption into the Soul Catcher out on Swindle, and a Black Hole committed here, but Z-Freak is just pumping out the damage. Swindle Melons with a double kill after he grabs the raise there. Triple kill now as he grabs the third one with that long raise, and we'll do quite a lot with that, indeed. And they will be able to get a tier 1 tower after this. And that'll be a great early advantage for Complexity, as they're already sitting at over a 5k gold advantage. About 1,000 XP, not quite as much, but keep in mind most of their gold coming from that tower. And meanwhile, Ziz is going to grab a Glove of Haste. I'm not too sure what this is going to be, but I believe he's built Maelstrom on Weaver in the past, if I'm not 100% mistaken. That's right, Anacrate. You know you're running a negative armor strat when 3 of the 5 heroes have Deso cosmetics, and this was the Deso cosmetic I had forgotten about. It's the Weaver Deso, which Ziz is wearing. Hanamitis will be picked up on your Shadow Fiend, though, pretty early for the mid hero, but he's doing very well. I mean, he's 3-1-2 after that triple kill in the mid lane. And I don't think Z-Freak is going for it in the end. He's got his treads up. And I wouldn't be too surprised to see a Blade Mail coming up on him next. That tends to be a very popular build these days. After, I don't even know who popularized it, but it was very nice. WC, I don't mean that they can't take the game late. I mean that they've got such early push and early sustain with the Dazzle and the Nature's Prophet and the Shadow Fiend that they can really just finish the game early. They have the luxury of ending the game early, but they can also play the late game if they need to. However, I would say that Leshrac is a very formidable late game hero, as is Storm Spirit. The problem is the negative armor is really going to get on top of them in the late game. At this point, I'm either assuming Ziz is going Midas or Maelstrom here. I don't think he's going to build straight into Power Treads, having saved up this much gold. And he only needs 900 to finish those. There's going to be a smoke gate coming in here, but Z-Freak will spot them out with the trees. And this is going to be a blown smoke for NLBA, as Nature's Prophet will TP back home real quick to grab his mana. And actually has completed Blade Mail here, 9 minutes in. Outstandingly done. He's sitting at 4.5k net worth, and pretty much where you want to be early game on Nature's Prophet, assuming you're not going for that Midas if you're going for this null Blade Mail build. KY will get jumped on up top, and I mean, you can just see him begin to melt there, as some armor reduction did come out. Nobody has a medallion, but it was just the Dazzle ult, which he's been able to get. He's actually level 6 already right now. That's going to make these team fights very formidable for Complexity. I did a draft analysis of Complexity's game against Gnar in the upper bracket final of TI, blah blah blah. And Dazzle was one of the key heroes to that strat, just for the fact that the longer the fight goes on, the better they get because of the Dazzle weave. Now, Storm Spirit will be picking up what I believe are his treads right now, and he's got himself a haste rune to work with as well. But Nature's Prophet coming in looking for the courier snipe, and he's going to find it. Just 2 swings of the good old staff there. Now, there was nothing on that courier, so I'm assuming it was coming out to Bottle Crow, which is pretty unfortunate to get a courier killed trying to Bottle Crow. And that's a smoke sitting in Shadow Demon's stash that he won't be able to use just yet. It's 8-2 here for Complexity. And they are looking really great. But what can NLBA do to come back from this is the real question here. Cost sitting on, well, a hodgepodge of random items. He does have the cloak there, just to have a bit of spell resistance up against Earthshaker and Shadow Fiend, I'm assuming. Although I'd like to see a bit of armor up on him. I think going for Pipe is not exactly the right move here, since there's not a lot of magic damage. I think he's going to end up going for Mech and just holding on to the casual cloak. Instead of even building into a Hood of Defiance. I don't see any reason to do that, really. I mean, if Shadow Fiend were really relying on his combo, yes, that's a possibility. But I'm assuming we're seeing a much more right-click oriented Shadow Fiend here, seeing as he's gone for the Midas over the Yule's Blink. With the Midas, you don't really want to get that Yule's Blink too late, because it's not going to scale quite as well. Yeah, and guys, the reason you can't lower the stream resolution is because we're not partnered with Twitch TV yet, but your viewership is what's making that happen, or what is going to make that happen, and just staying around, following the channel, that helps out a ton. Now, I did notice there, Enigma is going for the mech. In fact, he has it done completely as soon as the courier can get up, and that's going to be very useful, which probably means Cost isn't going to end up going for mech here. He'll probably end up building into a pipe, which as a second item is perfectly fine. I don't see the potential here, because most of the damage coming out from Complexity is physical as opposed to magical. And of course, Nature's Prophet just going to dodge the gank. They don't realize this is coming though, and Moon and Swindle are just sitting here in the mid lane. Now there are two of them at least, but the wraparound's going to come through about right now. They haven't quite seen him, but Storm with the dive in, and Swindle dominating as he throws out a raise to finish him off. Echo Slam coming out from the Shadow Fiend Demon, or excuse me, from the Earthshaker onto the Shadow Demon. As Swindle will get graved up here. Fly started dropping, but he does have that heal to work with as well. As Swindle, he is going to get killed there, doesn't get his ult off in time, but Cost with the relatively low right-click damage thanks to the debuff there, is going to go down to Ziz, and it looks like Ziz may be able to find himself a shark here, as Sparky will fall as well. It's an unstoppable streak for Z's Freak. He's 6-0-5, has participated in 11 of the team's 13 kills, and hasn't died. Now, not dying against a team that has 3 kills, obviously not quite as tough, simply because they're not killing you off very much, but still quite impressive, in my opinion.
Dire's structures are fortified.
And I am working on a way to silence the keyboard clicks as well. If anybody has any knowledge on that, if you could let me know, that'd be great. Ziz, can we manage to Shikuchi away here? Cost actually going to spot him out here, but he will quickly time-lapse that dust off, and at this point, Ziz should be home free, as he actually has a Perseverance complete now, 14 minutes in, on top of his Midas, which he'll be using on the bigger creep to get that extra XP. He's already level 10. It's not looking great for NLBA. I mean, you look at Lunchrack, he's sitting on 1900 to go, just on that Bloodstone. Now, he will manage to escape this gank coming in from the Dazzle and Nature's Prophet, which is very nice. And Z-Freak able to turn into a bit of a fourth core here. As Fly is basically, he's buying all the wards. Oh, but meanwhile on the mid lane, it's a zip in from Noble Wing. Ziz could be going down here. He'll actually live on 40 HP. Cost will throw out the decay though, and he'll grab him. Very nicely played in that respect, as he actually picks up 800 gold just for that kill on the Weaver. However, Weaver of course sitting quite nice. Cost not looking quite as good. He is 50 gold away from the Hood of Defiance. But again, I don't see the potential of this item to really do a lot. Yeah, it protects you from raises. Cool story, bro. It protects you from raises and Requiem, and that's it. But hey, it's his item. That's fine by me. And it is a good item on Undying, as the HP regen is quite nice. Also, just giving your team that aura of 10% extra magic resist can help them sustain a bit more, but is it enough? That's going to remain to be seen. Now, NLBA do have a great way to hold the high ground with the Leshrac, as well as the Enigma Black Hole being a threat, and the Grave, or Tombstone, excuse me, from Undying. Now, meanwhile, KY going to be in a bit of trouble, as he actually is going to get taken down there by Zefreak, and Koss is going to fall with a dust coming out from him, I believe. Yep. And Zefreak actually was able to pick up a Shadow Demon on the back end of that. They force a buyback out from the Leshrac, and Noble Wings just looking for some sort of opening here where he can get in, but the tower's already dropped. They don't appear to be backing off, but they're just getting more and more armor reduction. I mean, you've already got the 5 armor from the presence of the Dark Lord, your potential billion armor from Weave, and Noble Wings, well, isn't going to get any sort of pick off. The only opening he found was an opening that he was able to be picked off in, and that is not exactly what you want to have happen. Swindlemelon's going to BKB up here just to keep pushing. And this could easily be a Rax at 17 minutes into the game for Complexity. I mean, it's a bit of a one-sided game, maybe. As the Requiem does go out, and it does actually hit Yurgity and do a good chunk of damage, even at just level 2. But it won't quite be enough. They'll drop the Tombstone, but they already lost a melee Rax, and this is about all they need to lose to have a hope of making it back in this game, as they are already 20k gold behind and 12k XP. It's not a great situation, as Zefreak, who is still yet to die, has just picked up a Maelstrom. He bought a Shadow Blade, said, you know what, forget the Shadow Blade, let's buy a Blink instead.
Uproot and after them.
Why is everyone in the chat suddenly speaking Spanish? Like, usually we don't have this issue with Complexity. I don't know. NLBA will be able to sneak a Roshi, though. Well, I say this. Ziz knows something's going on now. And I believe he threw the Swarm already. He'll come in here now. They will be looking for him. A disruption out onto someone, and actually the Black Hole will be whiffed there, as Moomiander does get a fissure off and interrupted, but Storm Spirit actually does manage to pick up the Aegis, and he'll be able to help bring down the Nature's Prophet with him. Nature's first death, and Undying getting a good chunk of gold there, as he's able to finish up his pipe, and he actually has 1,300 more. As is gonna turn around on Noble Wings. I mean, you can zip all you want, buddy, but Swindle's right there. Do you really want to zip into him? And he has no more mana. He's going to be going down here despite the fact they just had the Aegis. And Sparky is really on the run and has no Blink to get away with. Moomiander, however, is the proud owner of one of those Blink daggers that won't even need to use it though, as Swindle will clean it up with a raise. It's a triple raise, triple kill, whatever, for him. And that's a mid-rax going down. Oh my goodness.
Dyer's top tower is under attack.
I'm running out of ways to say that NLBA are losing this game hard. Let's take a look at the graphs, as now we have almost 25,000 gold advantage for Complexity, 14,000 XP advantage as well. It's rough. I mean, who knows? If this 2-game series ends before the Boreal second game starts, we'll hop in there as well. Costs, they're going to end up going down. So we'll see the Tombstone fall at this point. And Deso now picked up by the Weaver. As the complete bot Rax is down, I mean, they're just running for the well at this point. As Shadow Fiend with a right click and a raise pretty much annihilates Shadow Demon, excuse me, his Shadow brother. Sorry. They're like identical twins sometimes, you know, you get them mixed up. Oh, Ziz brought the fiesta. Viva la Mexico. Okay. Viva la Mexico indeed. What happened to my chat? Storm Spirit actually might be able to find Z-Freak up here, but the Blade Mail will at least be a thorn in his side as,
Is under attack.
Okay, he realizes he has no mana, and he's gonna call GG. In fact, Storm Spirit doesn't quite have much of an eye. Oh. Okay. Okay. So that's how we're gonna end it. GG. Let me just finish you off and then the game can end. Anyways, guys, we'll be back with game number 2, hopefully a little less one-sided. If you enjoyed the cast, I'm SBRevolution5. For Truesight TV, you can find me at SBRevolution5 on Twitch and Twitter. You can find me at SBRevolution5 Dota on Facebook. You can find Truesight TV everywhere under Truesight TV. And we'll be right back with game number 2. So sit tight and enjoy the music while you wait.